going on, everyone? Badger here. And if you haven't been paying attention to Peacemaker, or you've been watching it and you've been loving it and you don't understand what some people are getting upset about, I will try to explain it one more time, hopefully for the last time. So yeah, Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, he has a portal to a bunch of different doors, and one of those doors is an alternate Earth where his father is still alive and seemingly, and then later confirmed to be a good person, and his brother, who Christopher in his own world accidentally killed when he was a boy while fighting, is alive as well, and they're heroes, and he's dating the girl he wants. And so he ends up abandoning his friends to go live in that world before his friends go to rescue him. And it is then revealed, of course, that it is Earth X, the world where the Nazis won World War II. And James Gunn, of course, has revealed that even though he knows about Earth X, he didn't take inspiration from the actual comics. He just took it from The Man in the High Castle, the Philip K. Dick book that's also an Amazon Prime series, which probably don't waste your time. It was good for a while, but the flag, the Nazi flag, American flag thing there is directly from Man in the High Castle and different from the Earth X. And I would argue, and shout out to Ryan Kindle, RK Outpost, for pointing out Earth X and Crisis on Earth X was already done over there at the CW. They actually did show the horrors of that world. They did show the different concentration camp for ethnicities and gay people. And also that was before, or at least right before, calling everyone that you didn't agree with, and specifically calling anyone that voted for Trump or Republicans Nazis. And that is the crux of this, is that these days, in the modern times of vernacular, it's not just because, ooh, Nazis bad, Nazis an easy target. It's because politically they have convinced, and this is what Gina was warning everyone about with her Instagram post about, before the Nazis were able to do anything in World War II, they convinced half the population that the other half was to blame, and then all the atrocities were excused because it was the bad guys. And that is 100% what the left has been doing since 2016, really, but then it has ramped up to insane levels the past couple of years, and specifically when Trump got elected, duly elected the second time, and fascist, Nazi, and people are tired of it. Gunn has responded, because of course he has responded. He had a very lengthy GQ interview, and he said a couple of things. So, and we talked about this before, but it was a long interview, and so specific things he said can just get overshadowed by other dumb things he said. So here was what he said. The first time, he said, "The show delights me. I really do whatever I want with Peacemaker," as if we needed that confirmed. He says, "And I mean, in one respect, I do whatever I want with anything because I am able to make my own choices, and I'm my own," like literally. He says DC Studios is him and Peter Safran, and he, Gunn, is the creative demanding one. So he's literally his own boss. But with Peacemaker, we really let it go. We take chances. We go to places where I think other people are afraid to go. We got a lot of pushback from various sources within the structure on this episode in particular. And I guess he thought they were racists too. I don't know. And we're like, let's not be bashful about this. Let's just do the story that we want to do. And I don't want to have to pull punches with this. And then here is the rub. It's like, did he call fans racist? Well, if you're a fan and you didn't like this, he apparently does think you're racist, because he said, and it's interesting because there hasn't been that sort of, I have a few racists that have called me polarizing, but I'm okay with being polarizing and letting racists fall to the wayside. People have loved this episode the most, so it's exciting. So there you go, right there. That is the full context of it. Anyone that is brought forth and said it's polarizing, not because we're hurting Nazis or people are defending Nazis, but because people are pointing out that this is another in a long line of Nazis everywhere, not enough to eat. Here. So it goes basically like this. Someone posted this. Every Trump supporter is a Nazi. Also, let's make a show where we brutally murder modern day Nazis. And again, all of them were evil. Again, they're chasing a black woman, but this is what the episode was trying to show you, especially with Augie the father, that it's an imperfect world, but he does the best he can. Of course, then he's brutally murdered. Someone in the comment section, actually, I give them full credit. Darth Omega, shout out, bro. This response really sums it down. Everyone hates Nazis, correct. Nobody thinks Nazis are good people, correct. When Indiana fought them, we cheered. I remember the movie The Rocketeer when I was a kid. The mobs and the feds both joined together to fight the Nazis, and everyone cheered. Why? Because fuck the Nazis. I cite The Rocketeer, Paul Sorvino. It is a great scene where the FBI agent and the mobster look at each other, and he's like, hey, I may not make an honest living, but I'm 100% American. And he turns on the Nazis, the mob leader, once he realizes who he's working for is actually a Nazi. And then, yeah, the FBI and the mobs team up because FBI or mob also protected a lot of our ports and shit during World War II. I digress. But that is because patriotism ran strong. And at the end of the day, we were all Americans. And that is what is being split. Anyone of the left will tell you that votes for Trump or on the right for any reason whatsoever is a Nazi. And what do we do to Nazis? We punch them and kill them. That right? Punch a fascist. Catch this fascist. It is a green light for murder and no conversation and just painting the other one as the object bad guy. So he continues. Now imagine you're an average American, hardworking, law-abiding people that wouldn't harm a fly. You turn on your TV or device. The morning shows a panel full of left-leaning people all call you racist, fascists, and Nazis. The midday shows a panel full of left-leaning people call you racist, fascists, and Nazis. The news outlets, and I mean basically every single one, all left-leaning, except for Fox, all calling half the country racist, fascists, and Nazis. The late night shows, left-leaning hosts calling half the country fascist, racist, Nazis. You get the idea? And then on mine, I specifically point out one battle after another. The Savant, Batman, Absolute, of course, fighting the white nationalists that the leader basically said, oh, they're just Trump supporters because I was upset at the way the last election went. I felt I had to say something. Yeah, upset that Trump won the Electoral College, that he won everything, and yet still somehow it's a fascist dictatorship. Make it make sense. Much like with bigot and racist, they've used these words so much that they mean nothing anymore, except unfortunately with this one, a green light to commit murder. This is a direct pathway to Charlie Kirk's assassination, a direct pathway. And yes, I include South Park also adding into the Nazi. Everyone is a Nazi. The same with movies, the same with social media, the same with liberal universities. All have the same worldview, all demonizing half the country 24/7. Some lunatic listens to the propaganda, climbs a rooftop, and kills one of you. And then they celebrate, they threat, they mock the widow and blame the murder on you and then blame the victim. And it really is this. They're all Nazis. They're all Nazis. They're all Nazis. They're all Nazis. Weaponization of the population is exactly what Gina Carano was worrying about, and it ironically is what fascists do. So there you go. There's your James Gunn, your head of the DC. Any goodwill he had with me is basically gone. I try to be nuanced and balanced, and I liked season 1 of Peacemaker. I like what John Cena is somewhere in this season. There is, and I think Little Platoon was talking about this on FNT, there is a solid story arc somewhere in there of him dealing with having his family back in another one, but blah, 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 blah. And all of that is lost on the Nazi arc. It's very frustrating, and it's not going to end anytime soon. Let me know what you think about this. By all means, please make sure to like, share, and sub. We're getting very close to 10,000, about 150 left. Then I can keep on keeping on and start obsessing about a new goal. So thank you so much. Let me know what you think about James Gunn and Peacemaker. And
well, bye.